How's your day been, Deb, so far?
It's been pretty good. Thanks for asking, Nick.
Hi, Michael.
Good morning or good afternoon now.
That's a good afternoon at this point.
It is a busy day, so
I know.
thanks for handling host duties once we get rolling here. So
no worries. Give it probably just 2 more minutes.
I started my morning with presenting 7 offers this morning. So
Whoa.
That's fun.
It's a good problem. Good problem. Can't complain. But
you only had 7. That's actually pretty low key these days. So that's good.
Yeah. I think some of the people had called and they'd be like, "Hey, if I write it at this, is it going to be competitive?" And I'm like, "No, like you can write it, not competitive, unfortunately." So I think a couple people would have written lower than what we had, so they just didn't even take the time.
So crazy.
Yeah.
I think the market's the same all over the nation. I have clients in North Carolina that are having the same issues where they're submitting offers and not getting them accepted, and they've got 14 buyers on the line. They're trying to get into properties. It's not just a Southern California problem. It seems to be all over.
It's just crazy right now. You gotta schmooze it or you're gonna lose it, right? Schmooze it. Okay.
And say now that it's 12:03, I say it's about time to get going. And if they're late, they're late. So
for those of you that have not been with us last week, Deb Shrider is with us. She has a company called Put It in Writing. She's a fabulous communicator, and she's going to teach you things. She's taught me things I never knew about writing or language or anything like that. So I'm very happy to bring her for part 2 of our series. For those of you that are with us today, please join us. Every time you see Deb's name, she's doing a different part of her series. So I just sent out another email reminding people of that at my company, so I'll probably have more trickle in. In fact, I'm seeing them come in now, but Deb, take it away.
Okay, can I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Oops. Okay, everyone, we're going to get this show on the road. This is Bye Bye Boring Bio. And for those of you who took my earlier class, we talked about branding and bios. This is a deep dive into actually the nuts and bolts. I'm not going to go into all the grammar and the boring stuff. It's just how to help your bio pop, how to make it more interesting so that people will want to read it, will want to connect with you and want to do business with you. And this is, as Nick said, is part of the Right Stuff Lab for Real Estate Professionals. That's a 6-seminar series, and this is number 2. So let's dive right in with very important stuff right up front. Drum roll for our sponsors: Brian Moscow from Point Mortgage, Andy Howarth from Euro Termite Control, Brandy Zamora from Fidelity National Home Warranty, and big thanks to Bob Maldonado from Essex Mortgage. So when you see these folks, give them a round of applause for making this happen for everybody.
Yay.
And I don't know why, Nick, but Andy's out of sequence here. You've got all the B names except for Andy. Have you noticed that?
I don't know how that happened.
So who am I? As Nick said, I'm a professional writer. I founded my business, Put It in Writing, in 1998 with a specialty niche of the real estate industry. I've worked for 5 real estate associations, doing everything from education to communications to government affairs. I've written for presidents of CAR and NAR, and I have clients locally, nationally, and globally. Last year, just as the pandemic started, some people I knew started a new group on Facebook called Real Estate Pros Without Borders. for people that were interested in global real estate or had global clients. And they asked me to do a webinar on bios, loved it, and said, hey, have you got any more? And that's how the Right Stuff Lab for Real Estate Professionals came into being. And so that's why I'm here today. On a personal note, as you can probably tell, I'm British. I'm described as quirky by those who are being nice. And I enjoy a spot of tea. My interests include gardening, reading, hummingbirds, cats, and eating lobster. I love lobster rolls. I love, and I'm so proud of my daughter, Amy. She's going to be here tonight, and we're going shopping for her wedding dress this weekend. So big excitement there today. I'm also mum to 3 rescue cats. Can you say crazy cat lady? That's me. So enough about me. Let's dive in. Tip number 1. You've really got to get your mindset right. Your bio won't write itself. Sorry, it doesn't do that unless you hire me to write it for you. And it doesn't get any easier the longer you let it simmer on your to-do list. I know what you do. Oh, I need to do that. I'll get to it later. Oh, I'm busy. Goes on the back burner, and it never does come to the boil. So commit to finish what you start. You always underestimate how much work it takes to finish that last 10%. So once you get started, power through it, make sure you finish it. Otherwise, it's so easy to put it aside, and then you'll be back to where you started. So tip number 3, take a walk down memory lane. Now, what do I mean about that? Before you even write a word or put a blank screen in front of you or a piece of paper, gather all your background information, all the articles that may have been written about you, or PR, your awards, your certifications, your testimonials, any reviews. There's a lot of stuff that you've probably forgotten. So dig through those memory banks, dig through those files. And these are the sort of things that you want to make a note of. Your experience. What has your experience been so far? The connection to the area that you're selling. Are you known for a geographical area? What's your connection to it? Why did that become your target market? Do you have another target market? Is it first-time home buyers? What is it that your target market is? Because you want to write to that market. Sales statistics. If you've got some phenomenal sales stats that really speak to your expertise and your production, you might want to have those at hand so you can kind of filter those in. And personal information. This is about making your bio interesting, making people want to connect with you. So make a note of your hobbies and your activities and your charity work, and I'll tell you more about why you want to include that later. The value you provide to clients. This is your unique value proposition, and I will make no bones about it. This is the hardest thing for everyone to come to grips with. What makes you unique? What makes you stand out from the agent in the next desk? And I'm not going to go into too much of that this week, other than to make sure you start thinking about it. We're going to do a whole webinar on that topic next week. So why do we neglect our about page? Well, you really shouldn't, because if you look at Google Analytics, a large portion of the traffic goes to your about page, and people struggle with that. It's hard to write about yourself. I know that. I don't like writing about me. I've written thousands of bios of people all over the world. I hate writing about myself. You never know what to include, whether it's too much or not enough, and you don't want people to think you're oversharing. So I know that. You don't write about me page because no one cares about me. And that's exactly right. They really, even though it's about you, they don't really care about you. They want to know what you can do for them. So your about page is the perfect place to tell your reader all the ways that you can be of service to them. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, you've got to tell your story. You've all probably heard that over and over again. It's all about story these days. So that's how you make a connection. So did you fall in love with your target market because you went to college there? And that you love the area and wanted to move in there and became that your career center? Were you in the military? Did that draw you to working with veterans or working with relocating military professionals? You want to make a connection. Hobbies and interests. What are your hobbies and interests? What might draw someone to be more intrigued as to who you are and wanting to get to know you better? And of course, not only do you make the connection, you want to create a context. So why should I work with you? You want to provide context. Is it your experience, your statistics, your awards, your specialty? You really want to make sure that you don't just kind of put a statement out there without providing context for it. And, define your niche. People say, what's that term I've heard? Niches create riches. Are you an expert in a particular field of real estate? Now, some people get really kind of like not too sure about that, because they'll say to me, well, Deb, I do this specialty, but I also do other stuff too. So I'm not saying to promote your specialty to the exclusion of everything else, but mention what you do, but then dive into your specialty because that's where your target market is, right? And the reason that you do this is what Seth Godin's a well-known marketer, and he says, people like us do things like this. People want to connect with you. They want to feel that that you have same values, that you have the same perspective. They feel comfortable with you. And that's how you have to structure your bio so that people begin to read about you, like about you, want to do business with you. So what makes you different? Here's some questions that you might want to ask yourself. What is your role? Are you a buyer's agent? Are you a seller's agent? Do you like helping first-time buyers, vets, retirees? What are the real estate types that you like to specialize in? What are your best skills? Are you great at negotiating? Are you a fantastic communications? Are you a problem solver? Do you have an incredible knack for making people feel at ease? Do you manage well under pressure? What are your best skills? Think of all of them, not just the obvious ones. What have you achieved in your career? Well, obviously this is the awards, the recognition, but when you mention the awards, and I'm going to mention this later, make sure that you give some context to those awards and why it matters to the reader that you've got that award. I mean, you may be patting yourself on the back and you're top producer, but what does that really mean to your client? You've got to spell that out. And also, not only awards, but think about the challenging transactions that you've had. Has there been, you've always had, I don't believe anyone hasn't had either the client from hell or the transaction from hell, right? But what did you learn from that? What did you do? How did you pull that rabbit out the hat? That's where you're going to find your unique value proposition, is diving into that type of information. So, if you did a transaction with, I remember a few years ago talking to a broker who had his transaction from hell was selling the family home, and then there was like 8 family members and everyone had a different point of view and a different perspective, and keeping everyone on the same page was really, really tough. And he managed to pull it all together. So think about those challenging transactions and write it down so that when you're doing your bio, you can rethink back on that and see if you can use that. And have you taken specialized training? Do you have your SRES? Do you work with seniors? And explain why having that training helps you. Do you have clients that are very involved in wanting green for sustainable homes? Have you taken your dream designation? So any specialized training, and you forget, so look back in those files and find that out. So here, this is a cautionary note. This is what I call the blah, blah, blah. As I said, I've written thousands of bios. And when I ask people, what makes you unique? Why should people do business with you? And I hear the same cliches over and over again that everyone uses. I have a passion for real estate. I love helping people. I go the extra mile. I'm a people person. I put my clients first. I'm your neighborhood expert. Now, there's nothing wrong with saying that, but everyone says that. I bet everyone on this call here would agree with those statements. So it doesn't make you unique. It doesn't make you any different from the agent sitting in the next desk to you. So, try and avoid those cliches, but still share that information, but in a way that's more interesting and more relatable to your potential client. If you say you're the neighborhood expert, you can't just say it. Everyone says they're the neighborhood expert. You've got to not only tell them, you've got to show them why you're the neighborhood expert. Explain that. So how can you check if your bio measures up? And I will tell you, I did go on to several Coldwell Banker websites the last few days and looked at some of the bios there. And I've taken out the names to protect the innocent or the guilty, however way you want to look at it. And so I want to kind of share with you, when I looked at this bio, and it says, my many years of experience as a real estate professional assure you excellent service exceeding all your expectations. I approach all my goals with enthusiasm. It's my mission to enter into and develop every client relationship with honesty, integrity, and good faith. As a longtime resident of the community, many of my customers have become my friends and referred their friends and family. That's building trust. I enjoy dancing, travel, cooking, camping, and the list goes on. So at first blush, they've got about their experience, what they want to provide. But when I look at that bio, the first thing that I see is that could be written about anyone. There's no individual personality. I could take any agent's name and put that on that bio. So look at your bio, and if you take your name out of it, and it could be the person in your office or the person down the street, then it needs some work. You know, here she says, I approach all my goals with enthusiasm, but don't forget you're writing the bio for the client to know what you do for them. So what you're going to do for their goals, they're not concerned about your goals. They want their goals met, right? So kind of rethink what you've written here and reevaluate it and look at it from, you've got to put the other person's perspective on. You've got to put the glasses on of the client who doesn't know you. You really want to get that personality. So here's another one. My name is Joe, Cold Banker, been in real estate for over 25 years. Sounds good, right? He's showing that he's experienced and he's got some background there. Born and raised in Long Beach, very familiar with Long Beach, Lakewood. He's telling his geographical area. I pride myself in staying in touch and following up with clients. This includes keeping my clients informed through all aspects of the real estate transaction and making sure you receive the best value for your home. You'll be represented to the utmost through all deliberations and inspections. Negotiation is a very important part of the transaction process. My goal is to make you real estate experience a positive experience. Let's get in contact with me and let's get started. Well, of course, being a writer, the first thing I picked up is the spelling mistakes. There is no excuse for spelling mistakes. Everyone's got spell check. Spell check, spell check, spell check. Make sure, because sometimes you go back in and you change things and you forget to spell check it right before you publish it, but you really want to do that. That doesn't set a professional appearance when you've got spelling errors, okay? Everyone makes typos, but there's no need for you to publicize it. So again, with this bio, I could pretty much put any name in there and it would be the bio. It doesn't give the personality of the person. You know, you talk about keeping in touch and following up with my clients. Well, maybe you need to qualify a little bit more. You know, my clients love the fact that I follow up with them beyond the end of the transaction. I'm able to help find them a gardener or you know, a handyman, or you want to make sure that you're showing the value. You want to make your clients zombie loyalists to you. You want them to make, you know, they love you to pieces, they'll follow you to the ends of earth, and you want to say why they like doing, why they should do that for you. Negotiation is a very important part of the transaction process. Yes, it is. But that statement doesn't say anything, just says it's important. Does it say that you have negotiation skills, that you've done some great negotiating on behalf of your clients? You need to kind of qualify and add the context to this. My goal is to make you have a real estate experience that's positive. Well, that's a very nice goal to have, but how are you going to do that? You know, and what do you call a positive experience versus your clients? Maybe for you, you're just glad you got the darn transaction closed. But for them, maybe it was kind of like such a stressful thing. You need to kind of add context to your statements. Now, the please get in touch with me and let's get started. I kind of like that call to action. It's kind of friendly. It's not just contact me and a phone number. You know, let's get started. It sounds energetic. It sounds enthusiastic. So I don't think this is a bad bio, but again, it needs context and it needs personality. This could be written by any number of agents in your office. So I noticed that in some of the agents' pages, Coldwell Banker gives you a presence on their website, which is great, and there's a place for bio. And a lot of people had put one-liners, and I think this is truly a missed opportunity. With over 20 years experience, I am the expert for you. Call or email me anytime. The answer to your real estate needs. How do you know that you're the answer to their needs? You haven't met them yet. You don't know what their needs are. Thanks for choosing Coldwell Banker for all of your real estate needs. Well, I'm sure Coldwell Banker is very, very happy that you're doing their marketing for them, but this should be your marketing for you. This is your opportunity to market you. Plan tomorrow today. I don't know what to say about that. I don't think it really kind of says much of anything. It certainly isn't going to encourage me to pick up the phone or email this person. International President's Circle Awards. Now, again, I mentioned awards earlier, and I understand that when you get something like this level award, it is a big deal. It shows that you've got tons of experience, that you've done a lot of production, that you're top of your cream of the crop. But unless you tell your client why that's important to them or give it some context, maybe only 1% of agents in the whole company get to that level. You need to put the context in. Don't just say it. Don't just tell, show and explain why that's important to the client. Give some frame of reference to it. Welcome, thanks for visiting. that makes me think, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Again, it's you've put words there just for the case to have words, but there's no reason there that anyone would want to, give you a call. And this one, what are four walls anyway? At first I thought, huh? It was so kind of random. And but then my eyebrows went up. And what you want to do when you're communicating with people, if someone's intrigued by what you're saying, their eyebrows go up. Oh, I didn't know that. So my eyebrows went up on that, only because I thought, who is this person and what's that got to do with real estate? It sounded kind of negative. It sounded kind of flippant. So I was intrigued enough to actually dig down and find this agent that wrote this and look at her, Googled her, I did, and found some other bios. And she actually has a design background. So obviously she's very much about design and staging a home for sale and seeing the potential of a home. And so I think this sentence, what are four walls anyway, might be good in her bio as a lead in, because then she can explain that, rarely do you walk into a home and it's the perfect home for you. But if you've got me with you, I can tell you the potential of the home and show you how to get it to be the home of your dreams. So that I thought was kind of intriguing. Though at first it made me think, huh? So anyway, but this is a missed opportunity. You really need to have your bio. And once you've got that bio written, you can plaster it everywhere and you won't be left doing a quick, oh, I've got to put something down, let's throw some words on a page. So as I said to you, checking how your bio measures up is by reading it and seeing whether it would actually speak to you, your personality, or whether it could be written by any agent on the street. This is another bio I came across. I took the name out, but I'm sure as I read it, some of you will probably realize who this person is. I'm going to call him Joe. Joe comes from a highly competitive athletic and entertainment background. He was an all-American collegiate gymnast and a professional performer for the world-renowned Bud Light Daredevils acrobatic basketball team. More recently, as head of TNT Entertainment, Joe has built his brand to a new level, overseeing contract negotiations and productions for countless events in the US and abroad. He now brings his relentless drive and enthusiasm to the real estate world. By always putting his clients' needs first, there's that cliche, but he does qualify it. You can bet that every transaction will be a slam dunk. A 15-year resident of Long Beach, Joe loves spending times with his family and coaching his kids' sports teams. Now, this bio here has a lot more personality. You really get a sense of the person. And, my first thought was he probably hasn't had a lot of time in the real estate career. This is a second career. And a lot of people do have second careers in real estate. But what he's done by putting this information in here, he talks about overseeing contract negotiations. Well, what do you have in real estate? You have a lot of negotiation and you have a lot of contracts. So he's already explaining he's got the skills for that. Productions for countless events. Well, when you have an open house, that's an event. You want to get a lot of attention for it. So I think you'll find that when you read this bio, you can relate all his skills that he had to this new career in real estate. Now he brings his relentless drive and enthusiasm to the real estate world. You really get a sense of this person that he really kind of goes all in. He's going to give everything he's got to it. I like the way that they transferred every transaction to a slam dunk. I mean, it's still in the same kind of happy, very personable information here of this person. And then he brings it back and he says, I've been in Long Beach for 15 years. So he is, neighborhood Long Beach. He knows Long Beach. He loves spending time with his family and coaching his kids' sports teams. How many people do you think will read this bio that either coach their kids' teams or have kids in school sports? So they're going to connect with this guy. They might connect with him because he's got the celebrity here, working with the Bud Light Daredevils. That's going to intrigue them. It might be that they've got kids sports, kids doing sports in their thing. So he's actually got a good mix here for someone that I'm guessing is probably not an agent who's been in the business 25 years. I think he did a really good job with this bio, and I wanted to share that with you. So now we've kind of got through the touchy-feely bit. We want to talk about actually sitting down and writing your bio. So the first thing you need to do is you need to determine the point of view. And that means how you're going to tell the story. So a first person point of view is when you tell your story directly and you use I in the text. For example, I'm a certified luxury home marketing specialist based in Beverly Hills, California. You're speaking directly to your audience. Now, the third person point of view is the complete opposite of that. Instead of addressing your readers directly, a narrator relays your story and experience. Jane Smith is a certified luxury home marketing specialist based in Beverly Hills, California. Now, you may want to have bios written in different perspectives, different points of views for different venues. If it's your own website or it's on your LinkedIn profile, you definitely want to be in the first person. You wouldn't go to a networking meeting and introduce yourself in the third person. So someone says, well, what do you do for a living? Oh, Susie's a real estate agent. You wouldn't do that. So why would you do that on your bio? Now, the third person point of view is something that you could put on your about page if it was a company website. And the reason why you might want to do that is because it sounds like a third party is giving you credibility. It sounds like whoever owns the website, if it's Coldwell Banker, they're saying these nice things about you. When it comes to writing the bio, I know it's very uncomfortable to write about yourself. I think most people find it easier to write in the third person. They distance themselves a little bit from it. But you can do that. And then you can also look at that and then turn it around and work it in the first person. And I'm going to tell you more about different types of bios as we go on. So now you've got the point of view. The next thing you need to decide is what tone expresses your attitude. Is it going to be formal? Is it going to be warm yet professional, conversational and informal? You want to make sure that you decide how you're going to do that. Are you the sort of person that goes to every listing appointment in a three-piece suit, tie, briefcase? Are you the more formal type? Are you warm and professional? Maybe you're like Casual Friday, where you're still professional, but you're a little bit warm and fuzzy, a little bit more open. Are you very conversational and informal? You know, what's the way that you present yourself to your clients? That's what you want to bring over in your bio. I have a client who I don't think has ever been to a listing appointment without wearing shorts and a sports shirt or Hawaiian pants, swine shirt. So, you want to make sure that you've got an idea of how you want your tone to come across. And once you've determined that tone in your bio, you want to make sure it's consistent. So you want to keep the same tone in your website and in all your other marketing materials. So 3 steps to writing a great bio. As I said, take a list of features, outline what you do and how you do it. You know, we talked about making those lists earlier. So then you're going to turn those features into benefits. You're going to explain the significance of what and how you do and the advantage to your client, and you're going to offer proof of excellence. If you weren't in the first class, I explained about the so what method. That's the method that helps you to sell the sizzle and not the steak. So basically, for those who aren't in that class, you want to make a statement and then say, so what? Answer that so what question, make another statement, say, so what? And you keep asking, so what, until you get down to that little nugget of gold that really clarifies to the person reading it why it's important to them that that information is there. So above all, you want to be authentic and you want to give the reader a reason to connect with you. As I said, they'll connect with you on different levels and different experiences, but be authentic. Don't be fake authentic. Now, what do I mean by that? That sounds like an oxymoron, right? But some people decide that they want to come off as a certain way. And so they write about how they would like to be perceived rather than who they really are. That's like going on a dating site and saying one thing, and when you meet the person personally, you're like a totally different person. You know, you've all known those people who put their photos up and then a dating site, and then when they meet them, the person's 20 years younger or older or 20 years lighter. You know, that what they've presented isn't really who they are. And when you meet that person, it's like, whoa, this is not what I signed up for. So you've got to be authentic, because people will know if you're not being authentic and real. If you are faking it, they will tell. So tell your story. Telling your story is something you've probably heard a lot of right now. It's definitely the way that people are communicating and marketing these days. Everything has a story. So you need to tell your story. And what I mean by that is, how did you get to where you are right now? What is your history? Now, I'm not telling you to start from the moment you were born to what schools you went through to all the way up to present day. You don't need the whole thing. You don't need to have, a whole history book of your history, but you want to give us some sense of the background of where you came from and where you are now. Did you work in other fields before you became a real estate agent? A lot of lenders became real estate agents, and real estate agents become lenders. So if you've worked in other fields, you can also talk about the skills and experience you had there that help your clients in the real estate field. So even if you weren't in the real estate industry, if you were in another industry, but you did a lot of negotiation or you did a lot of contracts, you can actually use that information and put it into your bio. So do you have designations, excuse me, and certifications? Again, I mentioned this before, you need to tell why it's important to the client that you have that specialized training. Put in that alphabet soup of acronyms after your name. May be impressive to you, but for most of the consumers, it's like, huh? What does that mean? So if you are working with seniors and you have your SRES designation, you have your SRS, spell it out and explain why you have that designation and how it helps you work with seniors. If you've got your CRS, explain that only 4% nationwide have the CRS, and it means that you've got access to a bigger pool of buyers and sellers so that you can sell your client's home quicker and for a better price. You've got to just keep drilling down with the so what, so that you explain why that specialized training is important. Remember, they're reading their bio because they want to know about you, but they want to know really what you're going to do for them. So you need to kind of sprinkle that into the bio. So what do you do in your spare times? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? What are you passionate about outside of real estate? Now, I did a bio for a lady a while back, and she liked to bake. And I put in the bio that she liked to bake cookies. And in her call to action, we had something along the lines of, to help someone, if you need someone to help buy or sell your next home, we just need a great new cookie recipe, call me. And she said to me, Deb, she said, I've got something to tell you. She said, when you wrote my bio for me last year, she said, I thought, why has Deb put in there about cookies? What has cookies got to do with real estate? And she said, I was kind of like scratching my head, but I decided, okay, I'll leave it in. Deb knows what she's doing. She said, well, last week, and this was actually obviously pre-COVID, she had her new clients in the car and they were going out to preview property. And she said, the lady turned to her and she said, I knew I like you the moment I read that you like making cookies. And Kathy said it was like, ta-da, there's the light bulb moment. That's why Deb put it in there. So you want to put that personality in there. You want to give a reason to connect and put that information in there. Even just one line about I like baking cookies. And that's what made this person connect and reach out to her. So when you're thinking all these things, write down your thoughts first, then create the outline. And I'm going to go through the stages of an outline to help you plan this out. So first of all, ask why. Why do your clients choose you? What makes you different? There's your unique value proposition, the one I told you that most of you are probably going to have the hardest time identifying. And you want to share not only what you do, but who you are. Now, the difference between a bio and a resume, if you don't know, they're not the same vehicle. A bio is who you are, and a resume is what you do. So in the bio, you really want to explain who you are, because this is a relationship business. People want, if you don't get the relationship going, you don't get the business, right? Yes, you buy and sell houses, help your clients do that, but it really is about relationships first. So if you're not sure why your clients choose you, here's a tip for you. Send a text to your past 5 clients and ask them, hey, hello, I'm writing my bio and I need your help. If you could pick one thing, what would you say I do better than almost any other real estate agent you know or have worked with before? That works on so many levels. First of all, you're not asking them to write a whole recommendation or referral or testimonial. Hopefully they've already done that for you. You're asking for one thing. You'll get 5 different perspectives from 5 different clients who had totally different transactions. And it gives you a reason to connect with your clients again, right? To stay in touch, keep that connection going. So that's a great tip. If you're not sure, or even if you are sure, send a text to clients and see what they say. You might be surprised at what they really enjoyed working with you. It might be something you hadn't thought about. So here's an exercise. If you're still struggling with knowing where to go, here's a 1-3-5 exercise. 1 sentence about your unique value. As I said, if you're struggling with that, the next class is for you. 3 examples of your personal traits. Now, again, when you're writing about yourself, you know, it's hard, sometimes hard to be honest, or you feel kind of embarrassed. So for that, what I recommend is call up your best friend or a group of your friends and say, hey, if someone was to ask you what my best traits were, what would you say? And see what they say and get that information from them. 5 accomplishments of which you are most proud. Because when you've got those accomplishments, it gives you a good feeling. And sometimes you can share those in the bio and it shows the sort of person you are. You know, maybe you had 3 jobs putting yourself through college and you finally got your degree. If you share that, they can, oh, well, this is a person that's a hard worker. This is a person that doesn't give up. This is a person who has their eye on the goal. So, you know, sometimes writing those things down can help you come up with some of the information you need for your bio. Now, 3 bios you should have in your arsenal. Now, at this point, I know your eyes are rolling back in your head and you're saying, oh my gosh, I can't do 1. And now you're saying I need 3. Well, actually, it's 4 bios. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. So basically, a bio written in the singular, in the first person, as we talked about. This is on your personal website, on your LinkedIn page. A bio written in the third person. That's if someone's going to be introducing you at an event, or if it's on a company page where you've got an about me page. And then what I call a mini bio. I used to call this the elevator speech bio, but since COVID, no one wants to go in an elevator with anyone. So I'm now renamed it the connection speech bio. And then the 4th bio is a video bio. And I'm just going to touch on that very quickly at the end of the presentation here, because that is also a very viable bio that you really seriously need to consider. So you want to start with a strong opener. Don't take the newspapers, you know, if it bleeds, it leads. You don't want that kind of strong opener. But here's an opener here. Tina invested in Orange County, California property in 1995, and in 2004 earned her real estate license. Less than 2 years later, she was named the top selling agent in her office. Before becoming a realtor, Tina was recruited by an advertising agency, and she handled a budget of 200+ million a year. People know they can trust Tina with their money and their investments. So what this tells you is that she really does have a passion for real estate, right? She bought a property, liked it so much, went and got her license. She didn't say, I have a passion for what I do. She shows them, this is why I got my license. And not only that, within 2 years, she was the top selling agent in her office. So, and then you read down and you find out that she was recruited to work for an advertising agency. Well, obviously her marketing skills must be pretty good. When that house comes up for listing, she must know what she's doing. And the fact that they trusted her with a 200 million plus account means that she must be comfortable handling large transactions and understanding the value of transactions, and that people can trust them, that she's not going to do things they shouldn't do with their money. So that really is a pretty strong opener for her bio. You want to hook them with the first sentence if you can. Here's 2 bios I wrote for this lady, Andy Houseman. This was quite a few years ago. First person. My success and my confidence were initially driven by fear. How's that for an opener? It's like, huh? Don't your eyebrows go up? What? Why was she fearful? Fear that I wouldn't be able to provide for my 4 daughters under the age of 6. As a single mom, the choice between self-discipline or starvation was a no-brainer. I had to succeed. So you really get a sense of this person right off the bat, and it draws you in. You want to know more, right? Now, the third person for this bio was not succeeding was not an option for Andy Houseman, who became the house expert after a divorce left her a single mom with 4 daughters to support. So, you know, there you've got a sense of how you can do the same information in the first and the third person. And of course, Andy went on to be lifetime achievement, top 100 and all the rest of it. You know, she obviously, her fear really motivated her big time. Here's another introductory paragraph. First person. I've learned that life can only be lived forward and understood backwards. That's why I believe it doesn't behoove you to let things stand in your way. And you really get a sense of this person's personality, right? He's going to get the job done no matter what. Third person. Real estate broker Stephen O'Hara is no stranger to success. In 1963, at the age of 12, Stephen was named to the Franchise 500 list by Entrepreneur Magazine, and the accolades continue. Stephen was ranked 14 amongst 102,000 RE/MAX agents worldwide. So you can see here you've got a real sense of this person, of the way he thinks, the way he acts, and he's obviously successful. Incidentally, Stephen's been a client of mine for, gosh, almost 30 years now, and very interesting gentleman. He drove a Lincoln Continental in high school, became legally emancipated because he had a string of car dealerships. He actually came up with the pre-owned car idea rather than a used car. And he's reinvented himself many times over. He actually, a year and a half ago, he had a massive heart attack, and they had to paddle him 9 times to bring him back. And he made it, and he's back in business. He's just opened a new real estate company with his daughter because he's setting her up to inherit his book of business, which is quite considerable. So, you know, there's a lot to say about Stephen. In fact, when he was in the ICU, went to visit him, and he's all hooked up to machines in a medically induced coma. And he'd asked me a while back to eventually write his biography for him. And I said, Stephen, we have enough drama in your life. We don't need more. You knock it off. You don't need to do this. But, you know, there's people that have a ton of stuff, and that can be problematic too. When you've got so much information, you want to distill it into a succinct bio. That can be as challenging as having someone that doesn't have a lot to say. So that's why you want to do your background work before you even sit down to write a word. Just pull all that information together and get it together and read through it. And you might have some moments, oh, I could use that, or I could use that. Now this next introductory paragraph, this was actually an office company up in the San Fernando Valley, and they were the broker was sending out postcards for all their agents in their farm areas to introduce the agent. And so this is one I wrote for Fernanda. Words to describe Fernanda: enthusiastic, dedicated, honest, caring, energetic. The list of accolades from colleagues and past clients is never ending. Someone once said, if I could clone you, we could own the universe. Now, here's the accolades: the honest, energetic, caring. That's when I tell you, go ask your best friend what are your best attributes, get that information from them. The accolades from colleagues and past clients mean that she's well respected in the industry as well as by her clients. And then that wonderful quote at the end, if I could clone you, we could own the universe. That was pulled directly from a testimonial that had been written to her. So pull out those testimonials, those are letters of referral, you know, and ask, you know, and use them. You'll find some gold in there, and you can always use a quote clients say about, and then you can put a quote in there, and it's coming from someone else, gives you third-party credibility. Now, I will give you another hint here, another tip here. I know it's hard sometimes to get recommendations after someone's closed. They're so busy in their new home unpacking and the whole bit. And for some people, for many people, it's very uncomfortable to sit down and write something, you know, no matter how wonderful they think you are. There's 2 things you can do. You can either hire someone to interview them and pull a quote. That's what I do for a lot of people. I actually call their client and say, hey, I'm writing an article about this agent. Can I interview you for a couple of minutes? Can I pull a quote? Or, you know, whip out, when you hand over the keys to the home and they're so excited, they've got the home, they're moving in, whip out your cell phone and you say, would you mind telling, you know, if I use the video, if I ask you a question, what was the best part of handling this transaction with me? And then you've got a video clip that you can post, or you can transcribe it and use it. So, you know, bear in mind, not everyone's like me and loves to write. So you might want to think about getting some of those information another way. This is another introductory paragraph. This was a challenge because I was hired by a lending mortgage company to write all their LinkedIn profiles for all their loan officers. And as you can imagine, these loan officers all have the same job and they all work for the same company. So my challenge was to make them sound different, and so they didn't sound all like everyone else. And this is one I wrote for Chris. Chris is fiercely competitive and a problem solver. That is why when other lenders give up, Chris is just getting started. He operates on the premise of whatever it takes. And that's why he's so successful when tackling the toughest challenges and not finding just any solution, but the best solution. So, you know, you can see how I've structured that one. So you've got your introductory paragraph, you've got that great opening, you've got, you know, people's eyebrows have gone up, they want to know more about you. Now you're on to that second paragraph. This is where you get to the meat of the matter. This is where you tell the reader what's in it for them. First of all, you want to turn your features into benefits. As I mentioned to you, write them down, do the so what, so what, so what, and find out what it is. Then discuss your role. You know, are you a buyer's agent? Are you a seller's agent? Do you work with first-time buyers? You know, that's where you want to put in what you do, what you specialize in. What are your best skills? What is your core area of expertise? Are you great at negotiating? Do you a problem solver? Do you work well under pressure? Think about that. Share what makes you different from the rest. There's that big elephant in the room, the UVP, unique value proposition. And basically, how can you solve my problems? What have you managed to do in challenging transactions, or what have you achieved? Or do you have designations and certifications that show that you've helped people who are seniors or help people who are first-time home buyers? So that's what you want to put in the second paragraph. In the third paragraph, you want to tell your story. You want to dive deeper into your story. You want to give you some evidence that you can say what you do, what you say you can do, okay? This is where you might mention about the professional designations, your awards, a great testimonial from a client. If you've got some impressive stats on how quickly you sell a home, or whether you sell over list price. I know in today's market, anyone can do that probably, as they've got a listing, right? But I mean, if you've got some great stats there, this is where you might want to kind of use that as evidence. Do you have an amazing marketing plan? Is that why your listings sell quickly, or why you get so many buyers at your open house? You know, if you've got a great marketing plan, mention that in this paragraph. And have you got proven negotiation skills? Have you done a transaction where maybe there was, as it is today, like 40 offers on a house and yours the one that got accepted? You know, put some proof in there. So here's the third paragraph. I wrote as a mother-daughter team, and this was written a while back. And I know that Feng Shui is something that probably nowadays everyone's fairly familiar with, but at the time, this was something that was becoming to float up in the consciousness a little bit. You know, it wasn't so well known as it is today. They have studied Feng Shui, an ancient art and science developed more than 3,000 years ago. Practitioners can help to balance the energies of a home to assure health and good fortune for the inhabitants. In today's global market, this skill is especially appreciated, but often hard to find, even amongst the most seasoned real estate agents. And so what this did, this gave a real value add that made them stand out from other agents, because they had this skill that not too many other agents have. Now, their area of practice is in Irvine, and there's a huge Asian population in Irvine. There's some great universities. A lot of people from overseas send their children there. They want to buy a condo for the children while they're in school. So really this Feng Shui, the fact that they were so familiar with it, they weren't just familiar with the name, but they knew about it, really is something that their clients appreciated. Here's another paragraph. This is another team. Their grand opening open houses give sellers maximum exposure, often attracting more than 100 potential buyers at a single event. And their ability to stage a home is just the icing on the cake. Now, what this says is it doesn't just promote their marketing program, but it also gives an example of what the seller might expect. So we've got things here that they've got, you know, they do these amazing open houses. And that, in fact, when I interviewed this agent, I do remember she had a listing that somebody had for almost a year, and they hadn't been able to get it sold. And she took it on, and within less than a month, she had several open houses, hundreds of people through the house, and had it sold. So, you know, that was a big thing for her. So we're now into the fourth paragraph of the bio. Now, these don't have to be huge paragraphs. Less is more. I think if you can get between 350, 400 words, that's kind of optimum. You know, people won't read that much anymore. It's an instant gratification thing. They want to have it right there. So you want to wrap up the bio. This is where you want to inject more personality into the bio by talking about what you like to do, your hobbies, your interest. Give the reader another reason to connect with you on an emotional level. So what is your big passion outside of real estate? Do you like to bake cookies like Kathy? This is where you show your EQ. And the EQ is your emotional quotient. So I came across this article, which really intrigued me. Founder and CEO of Minnesota's realty group, Long Done, has overcome overwhelming obstacles to realize the American dream and share it with others. Now, Long was a boat person. He came from Vietnam when he was 13 in a boat with less than a 50-50 survival rate. So you better believe it, he really appreciates the American dream, right? And he quoted in this article I read about him, this is a people business. That's what we said, right? It's not about selling homes, it's about building those relationships. He says, so to be successful, real estate IQ is not enough. Those with a high real estate EQ, emotional quotient, will rise to the top. That's why you want to have that personality in your bio. You want to have that empathy for the person reading the bio, that you understand what they want and you can help them. So your closing paragraph, we're in the home stretch here. This is your call to action. Give the reader, oops, hope somebody's going to turn their phone off here. Give the reader a reason to want to connect with you and provide your contact information. And I like to say, don't make the reader hunt for it. Now, I know on, like for LinkedIn, for example, you've got your photo and your title, and you've got your contact information there. Then you've got your about. I would like to put the phone number or the email or your website in that about copy if you've got enough characters to do that. Because if they've read it and they think, this person sounds great, I think I'd like working with them, you don't want to make them hunt for it. So if you can, make sure you've got that information at the end. So here's a call to action and a closing paragraph. If you'd like to know more about the services I provide, or even the best local parks where my wife and I walk our 2 West Highland Terriers, Bernie and Bonnie, give me a call. And there's the number. Let's get together to find your dream home or get your home sold in the quickest time for the best price. So you've really got, it's a really a soft, it's not pushy. It's a nice call to action. It's still personal. And, you know, you get a sense of this personality, the person behind the real estate badge, right? And then don't forget to include your license number on your marketing pieces. I believe now you need to have it on all your marketing pieces. So you'll need to include that information. So the mini bio, the elevator speech, the connection bio. I've got several samples here I'm going to share with you so you can see. These are clients of mine, Sandy and Rich, and they really have incredible statistics. So what they've got for theirs is, as San Clemente residents with more than 45 plus years combined real estate experience, Sandy and Rich have an intimate knowledge of the area, well-honed negotiation skills, and have achieved the status of one of the top 3 sales agents in San Clemente. They are also consistently the #1 agents in Forster Ranch, selling more than 225% more homes than the number 2 agent. So you can see here, we've got the experience, how many years they've got, that they live in San Clemente, that's their area, their specialty is Forster Ranch, and here's the evidence that they sell more homes than any other agent. So it's a real strong mini bio, and it's statistics based. This one's a little bit more friendly. This is bio number 2. Helping is in my DNA. Now, she doesn't say I like helping people or I'm a people person. Helping is in my DNA. I love to help veterans, first-time buyers, families, and even fur babies through Wagon Trails Rescue Foundation find a place to call home. Helping people and pets is just the way I roll. I help clients throughout Orange County, but I have a special emphasis on Huntington Beach, the place I call home. So you can see it gives you a lot of information, what her area of specialty is, what she likes to do, and you get a real sense of this person. So the video bio, this is the one that has most seasoned agents quaking in their boots. They, you know, this is something that they know they probably should be doing, but they really don't feel comfortable for it. Now, video bios, you've got to get on them because that is going the way to be. People rather click on a link than read a bio. But here's the thing. In order to do that video bio, you've got to decide what you want to say about yourself. So all that stuff I just told you about, you know, getting all your files together and writing all your notes, you still need to do all that because you'll want to script that video bio before you get in front of the camera, right? So you need to do the prep work for determining your story, but instead of writing it, you're going to be telling it in the first person. And when you commute in the first person, it helps the reader imagine what it might be like working with you. So this lady has a video business card, and I think she does an incredible job at making a solid first impression. It's under 60 seconds. So hopefully I can bring this in and show this for you.
My name.
Whoops.
So,
Oh, lost it.
I'm known to make egg toast.
Oh, we don't want to, here we go.
My name is Caitlin Beck. 3.5 years ago, I moved back from New York City to Philadelphia to pursue my dream of becoming a real estate agent. What brought me back to Philadelphia is there's always something to do. I love running the trails, walking my dog, and especially the diversity.
Can you guys see it? I can't see it.
Philadelphia.
Oh dear, it's
What I
not
bring to the
showing.
table, aside from being the agent with Keller Williams, the #1 brokerage in the
Ah.
world, is my
That's
social
not
media
it though, is it?
expertise. From Facebook
Sorry about
to
that.
Instagram. My goal is to make sure that your property is seen and sold. My favorite part about being a realtor
All right,
is
I
building
messed
that
this one up.
one-on-one
Sorry,
connection with
guys.
my clients. Having that trust in place not only allows the process to go
What have I
smoother,
done here? I
it
clicked on
lets us
too many
have fun along
things.
the way. I look forward to building that connection with you.
All right, I'm going to see if I can pull that in. I did this, I practiced this last night and it came in fine. Of course, now I'm live, it's not happening. So let me see if I can.
Hey, it's Michael. Welcome to the channel, and this is a video that I've been.
I tell you what, I will put it in the chat room, and so you can have a look at it. It's I'm hearing voices. Are you hearing voices too? All right.
Several of my tips made that article, but some of them.
I have no idea where this is
So in
playing
today's
now.
video, I'm going to share everything with you, my best tips. To help
Sorry
you
about that,
choose
guys. I really messed this up, didn't I?
For less than the price of cable.
All right.
Oh, they're gone.
So anyway, I hope I've,
We'll start with number
whoops.
1, plan your binge watching. If you subscribe to
Plan your binge watching. We don't do that.
one particular show, find out when
I don't know where I've got this playing, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that.
We're going to use Hulu as an example. Back in February, the streaming service announced.
All right, here we go. I got it. I got it. Let's get this.
As you can see, 3 episodes premiere on April 28th, 2021.
There we go. All right, let me get back to where we should be. All right, sorry about that, everyone. I don't know why that didn't work. Last night, as I said, I tried it, but I will put it in the chat box so that you can look at this video. It's as I said, I think she does a really, really great job. So basically, this is a people business. People will work with those that they like and they trust. Therefore, your visibility is credibility. You want to post your bio everywhere. And I will give you a tip here. Google yourself, make a list, because you've probably forgotten all the places where you have a bio. And you know, when it comes to updating the bio, or you've got a new designation, or you've got a new target market, or you've changed your location, whatever, and you need to update all those bios, I can guarantee you won't remember where they are. So spend a few minutes Googling yourself and make a big list, put it on your desktop in a folder. So when you need to update it, you've got that information at hand. And coming up, we were going every other week, but I know there was a conflict next week, so we moved up the class. The actual next class is Wednesday, April 8th. And this is the one where a peek at what makes you unique and hireable. This is the unique value proposition class. This is why it's important to have one, how you can identify your unique value proposition, making your UVP repeatable and memorable. I've got some great examples to share with you and really kind of put that all together for you. And again, I will put it in writing for you if you get stuck and this is all too much. I'm happy to do that for you. And I thank you for your time today. Your homework today is Google yourself and find out where all your bios are. And I look forward to seeing you in April, and we'll dive into the unique value proposition. And I will put that in the chat box, that link, so that you can check out that 60-second incredible video business card. And Nick, over to you. Okay, Nick, is he there?
I am here, trying to eat some lunch and multitask, which I'm doing a terrible job at.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you again, Deborah, for coming. Is there any other questions for Deb? You got a question here, Deb. I don't know if you saw that. Do you like Grammarly? Did you answer that?
I do like Grammarly. I think Grammarly is a great program. If you're really intimidated by writing because of the grammar side of things, Grammarly is great. It's a program that doesn't cost that much, and it'll check your emails to anything you want to put in writing. I do find it a little bit frustrating sometimes because, you know, it'll say, it'll tell you the tone that you're writing in. And for me, I write for different types of clients and different things. So sometimes I want a formal tone and sometimes I want an informal tone. So sometimes the suggestions are like, yeah, go away. I already got that covered. But if you've got any concerns about, you know, you're put off from writing, Grammarly is a great program. Definitely. I think you'd find value in that program.
So I have a question. Say you have, you know, websites or Facebook sites that you haven't used in years. Should you use those or get rid of them or put your bio there too?
Well, you really want to put your bios where your target market is. You know,
Okay.
if your clients are on Facebook and that's where you need to be visible, then yes, put something up on Facebook. But don't just do once and forget it and leave it. You've got to be engaging on that site, right? You've got to be posting content and being consistent. You know, I'm not into TikTok. There's no way I'm going to put anything on TikTok. That's just not who I am. LinkedIn. I've got a class on LinkedIn that I'm going to be doing later in this series, and I've got some information with how you can use LinkedIn for only a few minutes a day and get some really good leads for free. But again, it's all being consistent. You've got to put time in. You can't just put the bio there and forget about it unless it's your website. You've got to drive the traffic there, obviously, you know. But yeah, look at where are you fishing? Where are your target market? You know, if you're working with seniors, they're not going to be on TikTok and they're probably not going to be on Instagram. So take that into consideration. Any other questions there?
Great advice. Anything else, guys?
I'm going to see if I can.
Well, remember, Deb will be back with us. I don't think it's next week, Deb, because we moved.
No, it's April 7th, I believe.
Yep. Okay, so a couple of weeks from now, Deb will be back with us for another part of this series. Thank you again for your time today. And thanks to all who attended. These will be uploaded to our YouTube channel shortly, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, and I'm going to send you, here's the link for that video. I couldn't get to pay. Whoop, paste. It's not going in. It's worth watching. It's less than 60 seconds. So there it is. The name's Caitlin Beck. And I do encourage you to click on that and see the video. She does a really good job of presenting herself and giving a great impression of herself. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope to see you in April, and we'll dive into the unique value proposition. Bye.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone. Thanks again, Deb.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.